Advanced tips and tricks for when you play Johnson. Tip 1. Predicting enemy position and crashing them unexpectedly. Keep in mind that even though they aren't on the map, they're still expected to be there. If we for example take enemy marksmen in early game, they're on their gold lane, but just hidden from the map. So instead of waiting for them to show on the map, just go there and crash them, as they mostly won't expect it. Unless they of course recalled, which means they aren't there, and that's where map awareness is needed. If you see they recalled or respawned, drive in circles and wait until it feels like they're almost at their lane. Give them 15 to 16 seconds to go to their lane. Without them knowing you're coming can make it nearly impossible to dodge your car. But remember to ask yourself where the other enemies are, so you don't end up getting smoked afterwards by their teammates. Tip 2. Letting enemies use their skills first. Sometimes Ling or heroes that have flicker will dodge your ult, so don't be surprised and end up crashing in a wall. Always be able to keep driving, even if they dodge. Tip 3. Avoid driving past minion waves. Always avoid driving past minion waves, because it reveals you and makes the enemy play safer. The only time you can show yourself on the minimap is if you pretend to drive from bot to top, or vice versa, but decide to drive and crash somewhere else, which is a very good strategy. Tip 4. Predicting enemy jungler's position. As we know, Moonton recently changed where you could swipe to hear the sounds of the enemy's whereabouts. But there are still ways to know. If the purple or orange buff is spawning, you can assume the enemy jungler is taking their purple or orange buff. For example, we know that most Fanny or Ling players will take their purple first. So that is where they'll be. Or if they just respawned or recalled, assume they'll be going to the nearest jungles, except if there's turtle or lord. When the turtle is spawning and enemies are taking it, most enemy junglers pull the turtle a bit, and so this is the route to drive. Tip 5. Stopping the car right before the crash. Pressing Alt to stop the car before the crash can make it harder for the enemy to react, since you'll be stunning them earlier. The times where you should not do it is when the enemies are aware of you, and they're preparing to dodge, and so it's better not to stop the car, and just continue driving. Tip 6. Stealing the enemy buffs. Steal the purple buff like this. Tip 7. Avoid hitting a tanky enemy unless you have enough damage to kill, or you won't get ambushed afterwards by the teammate. You can actually hit a tanky enemy. But to avoid hitting, try to crash from behind or from sides, because the enemy cores are usually behind their tanky teammates. Tip 8. When to pick Mage Johnson and Tank Johnson. Pick Mage Johnson if there already is enough front, or if you feel like your teammates lack damage. Pick Tank Johnson if your team is squishy, and you feel like you can rely on your teammates. Tip 9. Heroes that are a good combo with Johnson. It's tough to play Tank Johnson alone without a good combo. Here's a list of heroes that works well with Johnson. Only drive with your mid lane, as the other roles are busy with their lane, unless you're driving the laner to their lane. Tip 10. Builds plus emblem, for Mage and Tank Johnson. Build Athena's shield or radiant armor instead of dominance ice, if enemy has too much magic damage. By the way, the third build is the best one out of them all. Tip 11. How to improve your driving skills. There's not much to it other than keep practicing. You got this. Like, comment and subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching.